What's up, yo, man? Let's talk about it because it's getting wild out here. Turkey had a She came out here and he's talking about he wants to make a collapsible ring that gets smaller as the rounds go by or some shit like that. That's one thing, that's one rumor that I've heard. And the next one is that he's just trying to make a smaller ring, trying to make these boxers fight in a smaller ring. Um, which, of course, the ring size, it always varies depending on the fighters and whatever ring size that the fighters agree upon. But this collapsing ring, this shit is crazy, right? And he's trying to do this shit to avoid all of these guys from running, right? He's trying to throw this at the Shakur Stevensons, right? The Devin Haneys, like, the skull bullshit that just happened. But you know what I'm saying? But you guys got to think about the big picture, bro. If he starts doing all of this kind of crazy shit, first of all, I'm gonna say that I don't like this shit, bro. I don't like this, having to make the ring size smaller or a collapsible fucking ring. That shit is crazy, because I understand, right, that he doesn't want to see those kind of fights, but you're also affecting those slick boxers that do engage and that they do fight, right? But they just happen to have that slick boxing and they like to use their footwork and move around the ring and all that shit. You know, so if you start doing this shit with the smaller rings, you're kind of forcing boxers not to be boxers. You know what I'm saying? You're forcing boxers to be fighters. And there's a lot of boxers out here that they've trained their whole life, in the art of boxing, in the art of moving around the ring, the sweet science, and not just fighting, not just brawling. So this is why I don't like this whole small ring idea or whatever he's thinking. you know Instead of that, why don't? Because I do agree, bro, we do got to do something about this running bullshit, because it is some bullshit, bro. Nobody wants to pay their fucking money to come in here, and you never know what kind of a fight you're gonna get. And of course the fighters are always talking that shit like, oh, I'm gonna knock him out, I'm gonna come out here and put on one hell of a fight, and then the fight gets here and they're fucking running. That's some bullshit. But what could we do? Like I said, because something does need to be done to avoid this shit. But what can we do, bro? Why don't you guys start taking points away? You know what I'm saying? You know how they start warning people for excessive clenching and all that shit, excessive holding, and then they take points away for that shit? Why don't they do that for the runners? Give them warnings like, hey, motherfucker, you better start fighting or engaging or stop running. You get a warning, two warnings, and then, the third time or whatever, you start taking points away. I think this works a lot better because this specifically targets those runners, right? And you're punishing those guys instead of making a smaller ring, and you're pretty much punishing everybody. You know what I'm saying? Even those slick boxers that they do fight and they do like to engage and all that shit. That small ring idea, that shit affects those guys. So I think instead of a smaller ring, bro, you should just start taking points away, bro. Kind of like excessive clenching, you know what I'm saying? They should make up a new rule for excessive running or excessive movement, or call it whatever you guys want. But you guys know what I'm talking about. And I think that's way better than just making a small ring, So we'll see what Turkey decides to do with this shit. Of course, the rumors are coming around this damn Shakur and Cepeda fight that he's trying to do some collapsible ring that gets smaller as the rounds go by, which is fucking crazy to me, right? I just think Turkey has something. There's something going on with Turkey and Shakur, bro. Like, I don't know what it is, but there seems to be some kind of bad blood there. And I think Turkey is targeting Shakur with this shit, which is pretty fucked up, because this is the thing about Turkey, right? He's got so much damn power and he's getting so powerful in this boxing game that when he doesn't like a specific fighter, he could influence the outcome of these fights with that fighter that he doesn't like. We've seen this shit, right? Or he could just not make the fights that the people want to see because he has a little grudge against one of the fighters. This is the only problem that I'm seeing with Turkey, right? He's got too much damn power and he lets his emotions get the best of him at times. I'm not going to say that he's bad for boxing. He's doing a lot of good things for boxing, but I just think his ego gets in the way sometimes, and he needs to put that shit aside and then just, I honestly think that he should get somebody else to run, but to manage it. But I don't think that could happen, bro. I'll still think that if that person that he gets to manage it is not doing what he wants, he'll pretty much get him out the way and and do whatever the fuck he wants at the end of the day. You know, but yeah, you know, that's my thought on this shit, bro. No fucking smaller ring, no collapsible ring, because you're punishing all of the slick boxers that do fight. But implement a new rule that you're just deducting points away from these runners, you know. But let me know what you guys think about all this shit, bro. This weekend we got Berlanga and Shiraz. You know, we got the Shakur Stevenson fight versus Apeda. But we'll see what happens with those fights, man. If you guys want to see a breakdown from me of those fights, either one, Berlanga or Shakur, go ahead and leave it down in the comment section, and I'll try to get that shit out, you know. But that's it for me, man. Leave me a comment. Make sure to subscribe to the channel, and I'll be on to the next one. I'm out.